Colby Covington versus Ian Garry is allegedly being targeted for UFC 303, the co-main event of Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. I think it would make perfect sense have McGregor and Ian Garry main and co-main, both against top 5 contenders in their each division. However, Ian Garry's the one saying all this. Social media, as we all know, Ian Garry has a massive issue with Colby Covington. He's been making multiple videos multiple times a week. In the past few days especially, he's been ramping up the pressure on Colby, saying, you know, you broke your foot 6 months ago and all this, and you're still bottling it because of a broken foot. And then Colby Covington comes out in a separate interview saying, well, no, the UFC has not come forward with anything. You know, there's unfinished business with Leon Edwards, etc. He broke his foot in the first minute. You're not going to get that fight, Colby. I think it makes perfect sense to fight Ian Garry. It's a much more winnable fight than someone like a Shavkat. And why would the UFC want you to fight Wonderboy Thompson? That does nothing for the division, and that's essentially solidifying yourself as, yeah, you can beat guys that aren't necessarily the peak of the welterweight division anymore. If you want to get yourself right back in title contention, beat a star in Ian Garry who is on the verge of becoming a star, or a heel star, a very popular heel. I think it's stupid. I don't know what this is all about. I don't know what Colby Covington's playing at. I feel like Colby used to have this stigma around him where it was, you know, he would fight anyone anywhere. You know, he fought Robbie Lawler on, was it 2 weeks' notice? And he had a bad cut going into that fight as well. I think 4 weeks' notice maybe it was. You know, beat Woodley as soon as he lost to Usman. Fought Masvidal as soon as he lost to Usman again. Listen, I think Colby Covington is slowing down. He knows he's slowing down. His age is maybe affecting him in the back of his mind. You know, maybe he knows, you know, it must hurt your confidence. You know, you had a close fight with Usman. Sorry. You had a close fight with Usman in a war. All your fans can say, oh yeah, but Colby went to war. You know, Colby's a real dog. If that fight was 15 minutes more, you know, Colby would have won. Yeah, there's all that. You get stopped by Usman in the first fight, which was an early stoppage, granted. There was a lot of fouls and not fair play that went on that fight, and that's what your fans can hold on to. That's completely fair enough. If I was a fan of someone, I'd say, yeah, you know, they lost, but this, but that. You fight him again. Okay, it's a fair loss, but it could have been scored a draw. Like, it realistically should have been a draw. Okay, no problem. Your fans hold on to that. Then you beat Masvidal. Oh yeah, he beats Masvidal. You know, Masvidal was on a tear despite having also lost to Usman twice. You know, he beats Tyron Woodley the first time. You know, Tyron Woodley also on a losing streak. So it's a bit like, fuck, you know, neither guy's currently in the UFC. So, okay. And then you get the Edwards fight because, you know, you make weight as a backup fighter for Edwards Usman 2. And because I think you had a bit of dirt on Jorge Masvidal and you were the reason Masvidal wasn't fighting, you know. So I think, you know, Colby will give you a title shot next if you ease up on these court charges against Masvidal. No problem. Then you look absolutely awful against Leon Edwards to the point where it's like, how do you justify that performance? You got taken down by Edwards. You got done all this too. Oh, but I broke my foot in the first minute of that fight, you know. That wasn't me in there. It's like, okay. You looked, when I like Colby Covington, but when I say, as a fan of Colby, to watch that performance, yes, he had a broken foot, and I know what a broken foot can change. It changes a fight massively. I mean, we see what Paddy Pimblett looked against Jared Gordon with a broken foot. He looked horrific. No movement, no lateral movement. No, you lose that explosivity, so you're slapping punches, and Colby isn't the best striker in the world anyway. Leon Edwards is also phenomenal. He's a very long-rangey guy who's hard to get to. So I think Leon was just better than Colby that night. I think Leon Edwards is a boring champion in itself. That was a horrible fight to watch, especially as a main event in the last pay-per-view of the year last year. It was tough to watch. Fight Ian Garry. It's a great fight. I think he should fight Ian Garry. I don't understand what he's coming from, saying there's unfinished business there. Yeah, there is, but you're not going to get a fourth title shot. No one wants to see that now. They want the fresh blood, the Shavkats. In a way, the Bilal Muhammads, the Leon Edwardses against proper contenders, and you haven't solidified yourself. We want Ian Garry Edwards. That would be a great fight. Michael Venom Page, Ian Garry. You know, these big fights. You need to come back and put, if you go out there and submit Ian Garry in a round and then say the real chaos is back, fuck you, and just destroy everyone verbally on the mic, everyone will be interested again. And that's the thing that fighters need to understand. It just takes one more camp. It would just take him 6 weeks from today, and then everything would be back to normal if he can get through Ian Garry, which I think he could do. I think, yes, Ian Garry goes side to side a lot, but also he's susceptible to being held against the clinch. Ian Garry does not mind making a fight boring to get the win, but neither does Colby Covington, so I think it could be a good fight. They could cancel each other out in that respect. Maybe he could drag a war out of Ian Garry, and Ian Garry said he'll finish him in one. I don't think that would happen. I think Ian Garry is a little bit like Israel Adesanya. He talks as if he's going to go out there and put it on him from the bell, but then he'll jab and leg kick at range and move laterally side to side. It's not. You can't sell that if you don't do it. You can't say that if you have never done that before. We get it. He KO'd Daniel Rodriguez. Yeah. Well done. First man to KO him. You weren't going at him. You were picking at him, then your big long... You very smartly and intelligently were throwing body kicks, and you threw a head kick after it, and we know how intelligent D-Rod is. I'm not hating on Ian Garry. I actually made a video saying stop the hate on Ian Garry. But what I'm saying is, UFC 303 is the perfect time for Colby Covington to return. We know the UFC have spoken to Colby and said we're aiming to have you back at the end of June. Colby has acknowledged that, but he's not acknowledged the opponent. And I think it makes perfect sense. I don't think Colby should be ignoring this fight. I think it's a perfect fight. It's also a really big fight, and I think it's on a massive stage. Ireland versus America and the main event and the co-main, that's a massive storyline. The press conference would be incredible. Ireland versus America. And I know Colby doesn't necessarily like Michael Chandler, so it would be a really big fight, and it's just completely up to what the UFC want. And I think Ian Garry's been offered the contract. He said he was offered the contract and he's just waiting for Colby to sign it. I don't think Colby's been offered a contract yet, because Colby Covington will be fighting for a lot more money than Ian Garry. So I think it does come down to just how much of a pay cut will Colby take, but also it's on a big stage. It's a massive reward. The financial benefits that come after the fight maybe will make up for the fact you'll take a pay cut. Maybe instead of fighting Edwards for 600,000, you maybe fight Ian Garry for 275,000 to show and to win. The same that Moicano's on. You've been at the top of the division, but now you're kind of reclimbing the ranks. Something like that. I know that's what money Moicano's on. I think he's on 275 to show, 275 to win, or he was anyway. After beating Drew Dober. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know. I'm very interested to see what happens here. Who do I have in that fight? I maybe would lean Ian Garry, just younger, his lateral movement's quite good. He just zips out of there. You can grab him, but can you? He's training with good guys in Brazil. I know he's training. I know he wants Colby, so I'm sure he knows he can beat Colby. And I think if this was a 3-rounder, I'd give the edge to, I don't know. Ian Garry would maybe take risks because he know Colby couldn't knock him out, but then also he's like Adesanya. He talks, but then he doesn't really do what he says he's going to do. He was saying he was going to thump the mouth off Jeff Neal and destroy him. Then after the fight, he said, all you can do is jab against Jeff Neal because of how much power he's got. He just contradicted himself. So I don't know. Anyway, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. It's a great fight. Regardless, I think it's a great fight. So we'll just have to see what the UFC does if Colby accepts it. I hope he does. Catch you later.